In this video today, I want to touch on a few basic things you can be doing to improve your financial situation and grow your net worth over time. Growing your wealth and improving your financial situation can be done by most people, especially people on low incomes. In fact, I think people with low incomes should be even more aggressive, as they are at the lower end of the spectrum and have less to lose and more to gain. Now, the key is to be consistent with long-term habit changes in order to start seeing results over the years, instead of chasing get-rich-quick opportunities, trying to get wealthy overnight, which are more than likely going to have a detrimental effect to your financial situation, then gradually improve it over time. So here are a few actions you should start doing right away. Know where your money goes. Now, many people get paid and they spend their money each month without being able to account for any of it. They just enjoy the here and now without thinking about their future at all. And the more money they come across, the greater their spending habits. They literally have no clue where their money goes. Now, to avoid falling into that trap, you need to budget your income. This may sound like basic stuff, but you'll be surprised how much people do not do this. You need to budget your income and expenses. You need to know your income and list all your necessary living expenses. And what you have left, you need to start using it to grow your wealth. Then, the second thing, pay yourself first. With the money you have left after deducting all your necessary expenses, the more of it you keep to pay yourself first than spending frivolously on things you don't really need, the faster you would be able to improve your financial situation over time. Thirdly, of the list of things you should start doing right away is start saving. Start saving the money you have designated to put aside each month to pay yourself first. No matter how much it is, be consistent and your savings will start to grow each month. And be disciplined. So do not touch your savings to spend on frivolous spending and short-term enjoyment, as you are not saving to buy liabilities, in other words, things that cost you money. Rather, you are saving for a greater purpose to grow your wealth. 4. Start learning. Whilst you have started your budget plan, paying yourself first, and putting money aside with the intention to grow wealth and better your financial situation, during this time, you should start learning about investing in assets that you can afford to invest in. You can learn for free via YouTube. Buy books, for example, books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, The Richest Man in Babylon, and so on. It's important that you educate yourself in some fashion or form about money, investing, and growing your wealth. Now, when focusing on improving your financial situation, it is useful and beneficial to have short, mid, and long-term goals. So these goals can be worked on gradually over time as you use the spare money you have to work on them. You can either focus on a specific goal or work on multiple goals at the same time. Whatever suits you best, it's up to you. For short-term financial goals, you should, as soon as possible, start building an emergency cash reserve of at least 3 to 6 months of your monthly living expenses. You'll be surprised how much people live paycheck to paycheck, and if they were to lose their job, they would have no backup reserves, no savings. People don't think too much for their future. They live in the here and now. You don't want to be like the majority. You need to be more clued up, wiser, and smarter. So it's important that you have some savings, preferably 6 months worth of your monthly living expenses you have in cash reserves saved up. This is important as it would keep your head above water and protect you from having to touch your assets in case of an emergency arises or you lose your job. Maybe create a separate bank account for this purpose to help you not touch the money, or have it in cash, for example, to make it more difficult for you to touch the money. Whatever, just start saving some cash aside in case for emergencies. It is vital to build a cash position in the short term for either emergencies or when an investing opportunity arises, so that you can capitalize on it. How many times have there been opportunities that have come your way, but you have not been able to capitalize on it simply because you do not have the money? When it comes to your midterm financial goals, you should look to invest in undervalued assets that you can afford and is within your means, which you plan to hold for a minimum of at least 10 years. Remember, you're not trying to get rich quick, you're trying to get rich for sure. A massive difference. You should try to build and grow your position in these undervalued assets as part of your investing portfolio. The purpose of investing in these undervalued assets is for exponential capital growth to boost your net worth considerably in the short to mid-term to potentially become rich. Examples of undervalued assets could be found within the cryptocurrency space, and the cryptocurrency space is one of my favorite spaces to invest in for short to mid-term wealth growth and looking for undervalued opportunities. I think the cryptocurrency space is a gold mine for these sort of investments. Or you can even invest in the stock market. I guess invest in whatever you understand best. Personally, I prefer cryptocurrency as an investment opportunity. Investing in crypto is higher risk, but comes with much greater reward. So just make sure you do your due diligence, whatever you choose, before investing in anything, which is why it's important, as I said, to learn, get educated, and do your due diligence so you know what you're doing. If investing in crypto, some things you should research beforehand. Before investing in any cryptocurrency, here are some key things you should research beforehand. The team behind the project and that they are competent, well-funded, and able to deliver on their goals, roadmap, and development with good progress. The concept or purpose of the crypto having a realistic, real-world use case / utility, solving a real-world problem that you can see being adopted and gaining traction by its target market. If the target market are institutions, corporations, and enterprises, the better. The tokenomics of the crypto has to be decent. Like any other asset, crypto gains value based on supply and demand. You want the tokenomics to have a decent supply that isn't highly inflationary in relation to its utility, or preferably a capped supply, because high demand for a scarce supply asset is what increases the asset price. Just look at Bitcoin, for example. It has high demand and the supply of Bitcoin is small, is scarce. But if the asset has a supply that outstrips the demand, it would suppress the price appreciation and make it difficult for that asset to grow in value. So when it comes to your long-term financial goals, you should think more about the later part of your life and retirement. Many people don't prepare for this, and as a result, they are stuck working until they reach the ever-increasing pension age. You don't want to be that person. Just to have a pension that, when factoring in inflation, isn't even sufficient to live financially stress-free. And that's happening to a lot of elderly people, that they retire and their money is not even sufficient to live in this highly inflationary environment. So you need to take responsibility and plan for your financial future and not just rely on the government safeguarding your work pension for you like most people do. So to do this, you should start investing in assets to store and preserve your wealth as a hedge against inflation, to protect your wealth from being devalued through inflation of your currency supply. This is a risk that people who only save fiat currency for retirement have to face. They have to face the reality of inflation and the effects it has on the purchasing power of their currency. It devalues it. And people that only save in fiat, then they are subject to the consequence of inflation. The rich, however, people that are wealthy, more educated, they protect their wealth and they hedge it against inflation by investing in assets. For example, they may invest in real estate. However, for people that don't have that sort of means, they should look into investments like precious metals, for example, to hedge their wealth against inflation, like gold and silver. Needless to say, precious metals, especially silver, are severely undervalued and have not really adjusted in price in line with all the inflation of the monetary supply over the years. This is likely due to manipulation and price suppression of precious metals like silver and gold, which makes them undervalued assets to invest in. Investing in precious metals should be seen as a long-term hedge against inflation to protect and preserve your wealth, rather than a means to get rich within the short to mid-term. You should look at precious metals as a long-term form of savings for your future and a retirement fund, which is much safer than saving currencies for that purpose. So if you're going to choose between saving fiat for retirement in a savings account or investing precious metals, then it's better, in my opinion, to protect your purchasing power of your fiat currency by investing in precious metals as a form of savings for your future when you have to retire. So building a precious metal position is affordable and a great way to protect yourself and hedge against inflation for your long-term wealth preservation. And these are your long-term financial goals. So you should have short-term financial goals, mid-term financial goals, and long-term financial goals. Once you have a strategy whereby you are taking care of your short, mid, and long-term financial goals in place, accumulating and growing your asset portfolio consistently over time, not aiming to get rich quick, but get rich for sure, you would start to see positive results over the years in your net worth. As you would notice, your net worth today is not the same as your net worth 5 years ago when you initially started out, for example. These results will be encouraging as you would notice and see your finances improving in the right direction as a result of your actions and changes you have made. Your net worth with consistency over a long enough time frame should gradually be on the incline. So what next? As your capital grows, the next step, if you desire financial freedom or to become wealthy, is to ultimately use that capital to build passive income streams. Wealthy people that are financially free tend to have multiple passive income streams. Passive income streams can be generated from businesses, renting out real estate, investing in stock shares that pay out dividends. The idea is, as your capital grows, use it to generate you passive income by becoming a business owner or an investor that earns yield. So you spend your capital on income generating assets and not splash it on liabilities that will only lose you money. And that's another mistake people make. They make a good investment. They get a huge lump sum of money from that investment. And what do? They use that money and they go shopping and they spend on frivolously. They go and spend and buy clothes they don't need. They go and party, renting out places they don't need to be in just to appear rich, renting out cars or buying cars, going on holiday. And before you know it, that lump sum of capital that they made is all gone. They're back to square one again. You don't want to make that mistake. So the idea is you use that lump sum of capital that you've made from your assets that you've invested in, and you use it to build passive income streams because you want to become wealthy. You want to build multiple passive income streams and you want to become financially free. You need to have your head screwed on the entire time and focused. The goal should become to build up multiple passive income streams with your new acquired wealth so that you can become financially free. And then, like a cycle, if you desire to continue growing your wealth, you use those passive income streams to fund your short, mid, and long-term financial goals. And then you use that capital to fund building more passive income streams. And at this stage, you would not only have financial freedom, but you would be wealthy and not just rich. Maybe you can generate generational wealth for your family, your children, and so on. So, of course, this whole video has oversimplified the entire process of improving your financial situation. And in reality, every step of the way would require knowledge, help from a mentor, maybe guidance, research, and so on. It's much more nuanced than what I can present in a simple, quick YouTube video. And it's much more nuanced than this oversimplified explanation. However, this video is pretty much a blueprint to getting you on the journey and starting, which is extremely important. The intricate details will be figured out by you along the way. You will make mistakes, but it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you learn from them and be consistent in action. If you give up after your mistakes, then you are a failure. But if you learn from your mistakes and you continue going, improving, then you're not a failure. In fact, you would eventually, very likely, become successful if you keep picking yourself up after failing, because you would have so much experiences, so much knowledge that the people that haven't even started wouldn't even have. You would be able to become their mentors and give other people guidance and teach them how to do it without making the mistakes you did, because you have the experiences they don't. So don't give up. Keep going and be consistent and just learn from your mistakes. There is no excuse, in my opinion, not to start. Anyone can do this. You can start even if it is with as little as possible, as that would benefit you not only financially, but also in terms of your knowledge, exposure to investing, and skills you learn along the way, compared to people who are too afraid to even take a risk with some change. Remember, the government doesn't care about you or your financial situation, as they inflate the monetary supply, devaluing your currency and its purchasing power. The only person that can implement changes to improve your finances is you. And if you don't care to do so, then who else do you think would? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon so as to not miss my next video.